Thank you very much. Good morning. So I'm going to give you an update on the Alaskan Viaduct and Seawall replacement program. And in your packets on your desk, there are a couple of folios that you have. One of them is on the overall program itself, and the other one is on the replacement of the southern mile, which is underway. And that's called the Holgate to King Street job, so you can look through those at your leisure. All right, so let's start with a little bit of program history, first of all. Back in 1999 is when we actually started to see that there were some serious structural issues with the viaduct. And so we were studying this for a couple of years before the Nisqually earthquake occurred in 2001 and made those issues far more apparent. We started looking at replacement options in earnest at that time. We had, I believe, 76 different options on the table that we looked at. We rapidly boiled those down to 5 options for a 2004 draft environmental impact statement. And those were boiled down to 2 alternatives for a 2006 supplemental environmental impact statement at that time. They were sent to the voters on an advisory vote in 2007, and due to various factors at the time, the vote came back no on both of those, which was a cut and cover tunnel on the waterfront and an elevated replacement. And of course, we knew that because the public voted no on both of those options, it didn't mean we didn't have a serious safety issue to still deal with. We realized that at that time that the issue was really around the central waterfront part, but there was a lot of consensus on how to advance the southern mile, and it had its own independent utility from an environmental documentation standpoint. So in 2007, we moved forward with a plan to replace the stretch of SR 99 from Holgate Street to King Street. It's about 0.8 of a mile, slightly less than half. And the current central waterfront program, which is from King Street all the way up through the Batter Street Tunnel all the way up to Roy Street, that's currently under a supplemental draft environmental impact statement, which will be updated and released to the public tomorrow. That will include 3 options. It'll include the original 2 options from 2006, which is the elevated replacement, and the cut and cover tunnel. Alongside those 2 will also be the proposed bored tunnel, which I'll talk about here, and that will be listed as the preferred option. So let's talk a little bit about the Holgate to King Street job. Like I mentioned before, it is under construction. We're in, I think, the 3rd month. This project will be completed in 2013. It has several features to it, and I'll point to the screen here. To get you oriented, you're looking to the east. I-90 is right here and leads you to where we're sitting, right? This is Safeco Field, SR 99. Running north, south here. The existing viaduct, of course, is stacked, 3 lanes up, 3 lanes down. The new configuration for the replacement in the south end is going to be 3 lanes side by side, 3 lanes northbound, 3 lanes southbound. Some of the key features of this job that allowed it to go forward by itself: it does provide full access ramps down in that area that don't exist now. It also provides a railroad track bypass bridge. There's the Port of Seattle here. There's major freight routes, rail yards here, major freight routes to I-90 and I-5. And unfortunately, this train track here is blocking the roads in this area about 50% of each day, and it has a dramatic effect on the ability to move freight and goods. And so one of the key features of the job is to build a railroad track bypass bridge. So once this is all done, not only will we have a nice, safe facility for this southern mile, it has improved access, and it eliminates a lot of the freight-related congestion. We also knew, of course, that in order to replace the structure down there, we were probably going to create a little traffic congestion in the process. It's hard to build things without affecting traffic to some degree. Our plan, of course, is to keep the viaduct open down in that area for the highest degree that we can. but we knew there would be reductions in capacity, and so we've invested heavily in the area in what we call advanced construction mitigation. We've invested quite a bit of money with King County Metro to increase bus service on the routes that would be affected by construction. We also funded the active traffic management signs that have been up and operational on I-5. We're helping the City of Seattle fund their Spokane Street and 4th Avenue Loop Ramp widening jobs. And so it's really a partnership effort between many agencies to ensure that we can keep people and goods moving during construction. All right, so let's talk about the fun part. This is the Central Waterfront replacement. It goes basically, the viaduct, like I said, it goes from King Street to Battery Street, but the scope of the Central Waterfront replacement also includes through the Battery Street tunnel all the way up to 1 block north of Mercer, which is Roy Street. We are releasing our draft environmental impact statement tomorrow. Like I said, that will be subject to a 45-day public comment period, after which, of course, all those public comments will be incorporated into the final environmental impact statement, which would not be released until, I believe, May to June timeframe of next year. Once we get what we call the record of decision, which would be around July of 2011, it's after we complete that environmental impact statement process, get our record of decision, that we are able to proceed with construction and replacement of the Central Waterfront piece. We also have a milestone happening today, which is at 1 o'clock, our two design build proposers will be turning in their proposals along with their sealed bids. And so we've been we're working hard for this day for a long time, and there will be a media event on Friday morning because the proposals that we get today, I believe they're actually 5 3-ring binders thick. It's a lot of material, so it's going to take us a few hours to go through and make sure that everything is compliant and the requirements are met. So we'll be announcing to the public some preliminary results of what we see tomorrow. So let's talk a little bit about the tunnel. The proposed bored tunnel starts down here just at the north end of the Holgate to King Street job, adjacent to Quest Field. It goes under Alaskan Way. It goes kind of crosswise under the city street grid, crossing under a combination of public, federal, and private lands. Underneath of First Ave, then once again it goes catty corner across the street grid, comes up under 6th Avenue on the north end. One of the reasons we selected this route is it's one of the best routes that we have for mitigating risk to properties. It's also one of the best routes we have to ensure that the viaduct can remain open during bored tunnel construction, which is very important for the ongoing movement of people and goods. It is designed for a 2,500-year earthquake event, and it has, of course, state-of-the-art safety systems. There's 2 lanes up, 2 lanes down, shoulders on both sides, and it is full height to accommodate freight. However, of course, flammable, that hazardous type materials will not be allowed. So in order to connect the bored tunnel to the Holgate to King Street job, we have what we call the south portal area. You're looking north. Quest Field is just off to the side here on the right. This is First Avenue here. These grade-in buildings right now are state-owned land. We're using those for construction, staging, and for detour routes. Once the project is entirely completed, we plan to surplus those. And obviously, we think those will be fairly desirable properties, and we hope people will really want those, and we'll give the state quite a bit of money for surplus on those at when the time comes. There are the north and southbound on-ramps and north and southbound off-ramps all occur in the area between Royal Brome and King Street. And then I already mentioned the opportunity areas here along First Avenue for future development. it's not just about cars and development, of course. This project does account for the fact that there's many different users down in this area. It's one of the main bike ped commuter corridors out of the south end. We're building 2 new sets of pedestrian bicycle trails to ensure that the facility is safe and efficient for all modes. Has new connectivity for peds and event crowds between the stadiums and the waterfront also, which can be a real challenge to manage. So now let's talk about the north portal. To get you oriented here, this is Mercer Street. The city has a project to widen that, and that will be going on at the same time that the board tunnel would be occurring. So Mercer Street's widened to 3 lanes each way. This is the new Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that is being constructed now. It's not completed yet, but the visual here shows the total build out. Once again, this has full on and off ramps in this area, northbound on, northbound off, southbound on, southbound off. And then once this is open under 6th Avenue here, the existing SR99 corridor here gets decommissioned all the way down to the Battery Street Tunnel. The Pink Elephant Car Wash is just off the edge of the screen here to give you a reference point. And 3 blocks of the city that are currently divided get reconnected, which the community here is very excited about. This also has opportunity areas. The Broad Street corridor here gets abandoned. Portions of it are open for redevelopment as well. A lot of public space opportunities in the north end, and also up here we do have significant areas for bike, ped, and transit improvements on the north end as well. So I realize this is a right-of-way type insurance group, so I thought I would bring our underground tunnel video to give you an idea of what is underground in downtown Seattle. This is posted on our website.